Okay, so today's topic, I know that the topic was something different, but I thought that this will be the better topic. So myself, Sathish Kumar Thiyagarajan, same rule, whether it is meetup or conference, any questions any doubts that you have, stop me, ask the question, I will answer and then move on. What is C? Application, what is significant is most of the people who are, this is an open source project. The contributor of these projects are either teachers or students, which means they are not technical. They are not software engineers. They are just passionate people. They want to make a difference. They come and then they contribute. So what we need to do from a DevOps perspective is, I believe that as a DevOps person, it's not about how intelligent people that you can accommodate, how you can make even a normal person to come and contribute what he or she wants to do. That is what the real success of DevOps. And that is the same story with Gurukulams also. So we wanted to put our DevOps pipeline in a certain manner that a teacher or a student from a government school can come and contribute without any mess. So we all started with traditional CI/CD. So what is traditional CI/CD? Now I will always compare traditional CI/CD as your audio control systems. In audio control system, just a simple system, you'll have volume. You'll just adjust volume. Simple, okay? But consider that you are someone who is really passionate about listening music. You'll have basic 3 controls, right? Bass, treble, value, right? Now all out of all this measurement, consider they have 0 to 100 values. Okay, we all want good quality listening experience, right? Perfect. How much they are giving? They are giving up to 100, right? Let us make sure that we get 100 treble, 100 bass, 100 volume. Will the listening experience will be good? Right? Okay. Now let us consider, I want to make sure that I have a quality software development experience. And I want to put quality coding practices, quality architecture principles, quality test coverage. So I will say 100% Chacoco coverage, 100% check style, 100% arc unit. Will it look good? It will look good on paper, but for software development, your experience will go for a task, right? Okay, so it's always about checks and balances, put it in a certain manner that you feel that it's a great software development experience. In my experience, if you have put all your DevOps perfectly, your developers should come and appreciate you. In fact, they should not even know that you exist in your company. If you achieve that, then that's a top Oscar award that you can get as a DevOps engineer. Correct me if I'm wrong, there are some DevOps engineers as such. I'm not a professional DevOps engineer. So now the real challenges, okay? In this project, we followed everything with a proper measurement. For example, we follow check style, not 100%. We follow check style. At the same time, we say, okay, I'll put 2 factors here. Our developers use Open API for documenting REST APIs. We do Spring Boot application. And we ask our developers, you don't need to document controller. Why? You are documenting your controller through Open API. Why should I do it for check style in Java doc? Unnecessary. Removed. Now, architecture guidelines. Arc unit. We will not put every guideline. We will put only what is required for our project. Test coverage. How many of you are tangled with someone who is saying that 80 marks is a good mark in test coverage? What is a good mark in test coverage, by the way? What is the industry standard? 90. Who all scored 90? Who all scored 90? 90. Okay. Excellent developers, geeks. Who all scored 80? First class, right? But it all matters nothing actually. The reason being, at the end of the day, what do we want to check? We want to make sure that we want to test all our things correctly, right? So there is another option in Jacoco. You can say, give me 100%, but exclude only certain package, exclude only certain classes. Which is better? For example, you write model classes. You write @ repository, like our friend mentioned. Do you really want to test @ repository because it's Spring who is giving it to you? But we do that to get more marks. How many of you have done that trick? Assert true equal to true. I have done that. Right? Okay, I can cheat. But now I'm saying, boss, you don't even need to write test cases for all this. Write test cases only for service. But I want 100%. 1 mark less, I'm not going to do. It will work perfectly, right? So we did all that. But this talk is not about that. We had a perfect, we thought that it's perfect. But it was not perfect. The challenge that we faced. Software upgrades. Okay, but before we go to software upgrades. Okay, so every time that you do a new software, right, you get a lot of things, performance, features, security, all these things, right? I'm not even going to get into this, right? But you know that what every software will give it to you. Okay, now let us consider a gadget. You all own a gadget. 5 months before, 5 GB RAM mobile, I'm not too good in that, okay, cost you 20,000 rupees. Today, same 20,000 rupees or 15,000 rupees, 10 GB RAM mobiles are coming. Am I right? My numbers may be wrong, but it happens, right? Now, today you are getting something cheaper, faster, better, looking good. Will you buy or not? You will buy, right? Happily, right? Okay. Now, Spring Boot and Java is saying Java 17 runs really, really well in cloud. It will perform better. It will reduce your cloud memory. It is actually the fact, right? And there are security fixes I have given to you. How many of us upgraded to Java 23? Very good. 24. Okay. So you can do that also. If all the checks and balances are there, okay? But everybody wants to upgrade. So, but when it comes to gadget, happy, we will upgrade. But when it comes to software, we cannot upgrade. Okay, in real time, we are saying reasons. See, I cannot upgrade because I have so and so reason. But in software, you are giving excuses not to upgrade. It's reverse, right? You understand where I'm coming to? Why there is a gap between how you think in real time, how you think in your professional life. If you consider professional life is passionate for you, then it should look like your personal life, right? You should be passionate to upgrade, right? Why we are not upgrading? Why we are not upgrading? Because upgrading is complex, right? It's difficult, right? Is it difficult or we think it is difficult? Reasons, right? That is what I'm coming to. You think that stability will be impacted, right? You think that stability is impacted, right? Yeah, you don't know. That's exactly the point. You don't know. His concern is valid. That is the point, right? Okay, when new Android phone comes, right? Android is software is created by someone else. You trust it. Your software is created by your own self. You don't trust it, right? No, I'm coming to the point. I'm coming to that. So don't take it in a different sense. So basically what I'm saying is, if the checks and balance are there, provided you are writing a software and you have a 100% authority that in my software, all the corner cases are already tested. I make a change, my automated test cases will guarantee that it works or not. You will be able to make the fear of failure will not be there for you, right? So you actually, we should appreciate him. He got an interesting point. We are afraid because we do not have the checks and balance. So what we need to do, we need to go to checks and balance. I'm not a big fan of referring some big names in the industry and all those stuff, but I watch a YouTube channel called Continuous Delivery. I don't remember what is the exact video. I couldn't get it. But I remember he saying, he's a very experienced guy in DevOps. Many a times in my life, that is what he says, many a times in my life, people do not do certain things saying it is complex just because they think it is complex. Did he put it correctly? Did it make sense? Right? So that is exactly what happens here also. As of now, we think it is complex to stay updated. That is, if I tell you that today, if Spring Boot, what is the latest release Spring Boot has made? Spring Boot 3.4, which was released 1 week before. Now I want to upgrade to 3.4. I should upgrade confidently, right? Yes, we can, provided checks and balance are there. That is what we are going to see. So our idea is, let us think little different now, not in a normal manner that we think. We are going to, from now onwards, we are going to promise ourselves, we will upgrade software, we will upgrade software, we will upgrade software. If not, we will give excuse, not the reverse. See, I'm not able to upgrade. Please excuse me. That is what I can say. I cannot say, no, I'm not upgrading because of so and so reason. That is not the good thing. That is how we will consider, at least in our room. Okay. Now there are tools to help you. We will go there. Sorry, I'm standing in between you and lunch. Our solution. Okay. This is just one of the solution. what do you really want to do? Let us just put what all the things that you want to do. First, you need to discover what are all the dependencies that is pending for you. Next, what you need to do? You need to report that this is upgrade is pending. Please block it. 3, the most important item. What is the most important item here? Excuse. If someone is asking excuse, give him excuse. Let us try to do all the 3. Okay? Okay. I'm directly going to lessons learned. It's very simple. Actually, I don't know whether I can pull up the code, but I will check it. I should have that code. It's a live project, so I should have that code somewhere. Sorry, I couldn't show the demo. Okay, so in this project, you will see that there's a small tweak in my form.xml. The tweak is, first thing, there is something called version plugin. What will version plugin will do? What will version plugin will do? Maven version plugin. Right? But one beauty that it will do is, every time that it upgrade, it has the manners to say, I am keeping you a backup file and then I'm updating my form.xml. Okay? Now, there is another plugin called Enforcer. Okay, now we will do that, but there is another plugin called Enforcer. Okay, now connect the dots. If I have form.xml.backup, which means I have an update which is not handled properly, which is not upgraded, right? I will fail the build. That is how, if you do not have any software that is upgraded, so how do you do that? Now just look at it. It's a very simple code. There's an Enforcer plugin. Okay, so simple logic is, I will say this file with this name should not exist. If this file exists, I will simply break my.
Can you zoom in the code?
Enforce don't exist. So just okay. Now how do I control that? Okay, good. I have that code also. So in my CI/CD pipeline, we use GitHub Actions. So hope all of you are familiar. Very simple logic. All that we do is, first we need to call version upgrades, right? And then I will call, in case if there is a version to be upgraded, form.xml should have the extra file, right? It will break the build. We identified, we reported. Next, what is the important thing that we need to do? What is it? What was our third most important item? Exceptions, exclusions, right? Excuses, right? How do you give excuses? You can exclude a specific dependency from JVM config. In that case, it will be ignored. Very simple logic, right? There are some other way to do it also. We'll see that if time permits. So far clear? So what we wanted to do, how we did it. Okay. Now let us look at the next part. That is lessons learned. Okay. Now we did this brave step to get into the development stage where we say, always we are latest. Our upgrade happens every time we run a build. To answer your question, in this project, the test coverage, architecture coverage, check style coverage, everything is already tested multiple times actually. That is why it was actually difficult initially. The build was breaking continuously, but we try to fix it rather than just remove that. Actually, we try to fix it aggressively. Now it's kind of okay. It's stable. Okay, lessons learned. Okay, so this is a very important part. There is a problem, there is a solution that we have identified. Particularly, I'm talking about DevOps person's life. You know that this is the problem. You know that this is a solution. But where the complexity starts is actually in this project, it is only about problem and then solution. There was a problem, there was a solution, it was applied, and everybody happy. But actually, if you are working in a bigger environment, right? Actual problem is there is a big gap for the quality. What is that gap? Communicate. You need to communicate to the team that, team, I want to do this. This is a problem. People understanding the problem is a different thing, but people understanding that this is actually the problem is an even major thing, right? So that is the first problem. Okay, now what is the second problem? There is even a bigger problem. What is the second problem?
Breaking the the comfort zone.
Convince the people.
Yeah.
Right? You already got it.
Yeah.
Right? So you can wake someone who is sleeping. You cannot wake them if they are pretend to be sleeping, right? So this is a very difficult. I'm just sharing my idea. You tell me if this is wrong actually. So at least I have seen it. I have seen that it's very difficult to convince people, convince the team, right? Because it goes through hierarchies. To the manager, I need to put it in a certain manner. To the client, I need to put it in a certain manner, which engineer will not be good at, will not do it at the end of the day, right? Okay, but is it really worth to take all this pain for this specific item? What we learned after running it for almost a year now is the benefits are two. The first benefit that you see is you think that the technical debt is reduced, which is actually true. As we speak, I can comfortably say we are running with the latest of Spring, latest of any library that you name, latest of JDK. We have no problem. That's a very good thing. But there is a hidden advantage, which we realized over the period of time. It is actually validating our engineering practices. If our engineering practices are flawed, we cannot even be there for a month, for a week. We will be falling down. Right? So continuously staying there is actually validating us that other aspects of engineering practices, like how do you validate, what is the branching strategy, how do you get the requirement, how the developers are working, how the testers are testing, every aspect will be validated. Benefits are good, right? Okay. Now, the last part, that is, I told you, most of the time people do not do complex things because they think that it is complex, right? Let us see whether it is complex. Because if you want to do it today, when we did it, we did not have help actually. We did it in a hard way. But today, when I look at it, when I came to meet up and then talk to people like Siva, I don't know whether Siva is here actually. Siva, Raja sir, they are all our experts. So they give bits and pieces which makes this area really easy to achieve. So these are all the 4 aspects that you need to look at. So what I did is just one thing. It's just closing the gate. That I don't allow you. But you can close the gate with these people who are there to help you. Point number 1, auto detect upgrades. As we speak, there is a GitHub product. You don't need to keep watching that there is a latest upgrade. Even we are lazy developers, right? The more you become experienced, lazier. That is the level that we achieve. So we want to upgrade, but we also want to know someone, please tell me what do I want to upgrade. If possible, please raise me as a pull request also. And there is someone called GitHub Renovate. He will do it for you. He will tell you, see, please update. He will raise a PR also for you. What you need to do, you need to just accept it or you need to give exclusion, right? Second thing, layered deployment. Actually good, interestingly, this layered deployment, I gave a talk in Infosys sometime before, actually. In a layered deployment, how many of you really like GraalVM is the latest one? GraalVM, how many of you tried GraalVM? You tried GraalVM. You like GraalVM or the typical old approach that we do? Okay, you like GraalVM kind of deployment, native deployment, or this installing JRE on top of it, putting that this one?
No,
which one?
Local, I'm still using JRE, JDK. But on cloud, we use GraalVM so that we can reduce the memory.
Okay. Is GraalVM good? Is JVM good? That JRE root good? Most popular software engineer answer, it depends. Right? Okay. Now, actually, it depends. So this layered architecture is very, very important because we will not be getting to the detail because it's a different talk altogether. But I would say every time that you make a software, you are releasing a software. Who is working for your software? You, your team, your QA, your deployment engineer, your business analyst, everyone is working, right? Is it only that team? But I would say when I'm actually working, I have people from VMware working for me. I have people from Broadcom working for me. I have people from Netflix. Even if I go one level higher, I have Oracle people, Microsoft people working for me. How? I run my software on top of JDK, which also gets upgraded every time. There are people who are working on a day and night. And then on top of that, my dependencies are the Spring that is coming from Broadcom or etc. On top of that, my software is there. Now, when I'm saying my software should wait for only my team to upgrade it, my team to add a feature, it's the wrong thing. There are people who are working under the hood. I need to consider their efforts also, right? So that is what layer deployment is. In a layer deployment world, you deploy your JRE as a cross-cutting concern. That is, you as an organization decide, okay, today because if a software is running in JDK 17, it might probably run in JDK 21 also in a much better manner. Particularly, there is something improved with string, which alone causes some performance improvement that JDK experts can say. So now I can get advantage of that, right? That is one layer. What is the second layer? We all use fat jars in Spring Boot, right? Is fat jar a good idea? Yes, it is good, but it software answer, it depends, right? So I can say, okay, these are all my dependencies. I can do application class loading for that because most of the time I will not change that class. ACDS, that new feature that we have added, we will ACS, I think so. So we'll add that. And then I will put my jar as a final thing, as a normal deployment. In that case, every time Spring upgrade happens, all my application will benefit with that. Every time JDK upgrade happens, all my application will benefit that. Every time there is something that I'm adding in my project, only my application will benefit with that. So that is layered architecture. Hexagonal. Actually, it's relatively bigger. It's not just about hexagonal. For an API, hexagonal gives you that luxury. But the point here is you need to make a proper skill isolation. For example, in our team that we work, we have backend engineers, 10 backend engineers. 10 backend engineers means how many Spring Boot engineers? Out of 10? 10 backend engineers. How many Spring Boot engineers? Huh? 1. Okay. Since I asked the question, she's asking it, but most of the time our instinct is Spring Boot engineers are backend engineers. Am I right? Now 10 means 10 equal to 10, right? But actually it is not, right? Spring is one skill set which not every developer should know. Maximum that you can give it to them. @service, @repository, @controller, right? You are writing microservice. What are you going to do? @service, @repository, whatever it is. Hexagonal, same, right? Give them only that. Whatever security, monitoring, database management, anything that you want to do, give it to 1% or 2%. Let them manage it properly, right? That is what hexagonal architecture will give it to you. On a broader sense, this comes to design system in UI, Jamstack, all this ultra modern words, micro front and all this stuff, microservices, which is a bad word for me. I have heard that multiple times. But then the point here is you need to have a clear-cut skill isolation, which will help you to do this in an isolated, safe manner. Third is code automation. Try to use as many tools as possible where our code is better maintained when we don't write our code, right? So try to auto-generate your code as much as possible. And the last, most important, but the recent addition is there are tools. When you want to upgrade from certain version of Hibernate to another Hibernate, certain version of JUG to another JUG, there are people to help you. Who is that person who is helping us now? There is something called Open Rewrite. They are also coming and then saying, please use me, I will help you. We just need to use them. They will do all this migration automatically. If you want a detailed talk on this, today I think 6th talk in the same room, Raja sir will take it. So I'm not going to detail in that, but that will help you. So 4 area, automatically detect upgrades so that they rise PR, layer development so that you can upgrade anytime comfortably, hexagonal, skill isolation, code automation, migration tool, all good. Q&A. Any questions? Huh? Very good question. Very good question. So yes. Particularly, why this upgrade is crucial today is the rate of software changes has increased quite a few now. Consider you as a Spring Boot developer. 2.4 to 3.4 now happened within 1 year or 2 years, I think so. But the problem is you cannot jump from 2.4 to 3.4. You need to go 2.4 to 2.5. It will break actually. 2.5 to 7, break. 7 to 3.0, break. 3.0 to 3.1, 3.1 to 3.2. That is how you can come. Okay. Now the thing is, yes, it is difficult, but one of the difficult activity that we observed and then fixed later is the actual culprit was deprecations. In order to mitigate that, what we did is we put some checks and balance where this is not the only one. There are a lot of other measurements that we need to, but this is something that is my most favorite because we think that it is very simple, but actually this person was the big culprit for us to make changes easily. So here you see in 2 lines, very simple. I said deprecations are also compilation failures. Now ask your developers to come with deprecations. You cannot, right? Which if you follow this, 2.4 to 2.7, 2.7, because Spring has this habit. Any major software has this habit. Before they change, they will properly announce through deprecation. You don't let deprecation comes, your upgrade becomes simpler, smoother. And of course, test cases should be there. That's a different angle. But it's difficult, but you need to always consider the worth of what you have, right? You're saving money, right? So you are improving performance, security. That is worth an investment. Any questions?
Regarding that software that we have of food feature development, example, when it comes to e-commerce.
Where? Okay.
When it comes to e-commerce,
Mm.
so we will try to deliver the feature. So for the flexibility of the client or customer. So in that case, we will only focus on feature instead of technology to deliver it so as soon as possible to the customer to enjoy the feature.
Okay.
So in that.
Very good question, Hari. I worked in e-commerce for some time, right? So like if you are working in banking domain, right? If you're working in banking domain, actually every time an upgrade comes, there is a security risk involved. That is why we will not upgrade, right? Okay. If you are working in a small startup company, we'll say every time that we work on a new change, it will actually have a lot of developers. We do not have money. We are poor people. When it comes to e-commerce, we need to be cutting edge on the technology. That is why we will not upgrade. But all of these are excuses. I will tell you why. You need to deliver feature faster. You need to deliver feature faster. Agreed? When will you deliver feature faster? If your engineering practices are good, right? When you reach here, you automatically get all the natural features of your underlying software dependencies. Apart from that, it also makes sure that your team do not have the luxury of falling one line this side, one line this side. So it's all about adding features. Is adding feature easier when the fear of failure is less or more? When it is less, right? Software is an exploration activity, right? In civil engineering, right? I want to construct this entire building. Then I'm thinking, okay, it is not looking good. Let me break it, put 4 pillars. Hey, it is not looking good. Let me break it, put 7 pillars. You will not do that because the exploration possibilities are less cost, right? In software, you write one line of code, compiler shows error. What will you do? Change it. Nothing to lose, right? So in software, we have that luxury. We need to use it. This is something that I can communicate, but I cannot convince. The same problem that I mentioned. But actually, if you do it, you will know you don't need anybody to convince you. You will yourself see it. Because there is one also in that recording, anyway, they will cut that. So if I put any, a popular notion is every time that you say something, they will say, okay, IntelliJ IDEA do not do any test cases. So test cases are waste. We always find excuses with some big names, actually. They are not doing in the sense, they are doing something else, right? If you do that, something else, you can be sure. It's like, no, we will not do anything. But when someone asks a question, we'll give excuse because some big boss is doing it, right? So that is how we will find excuse, but it's a clearly excuse. I might sound rude, but trust me.